lot of wrestlers watching it would give their right arm to just maybe have one.
Well, he's not going to retire and go out and feed chickens for the rest of his life. He's looking forward to a good college career, I'm sure. And there's a lot of college coaches here that are just drooling with the talent that we're looking at out here on the mat. We're up to 145 pounds already.
John, whoa, we have a
Sean Finkbeiner of Northampton drops Tim Krieger, champion from Iowa. And that got a good response from the crowd.
That scared me, John. I was looking down at our press release here, and I had to jump a little. Let's give you a rundown. That's Sean Finkbeiner from Northampton. He was a 145-pound state champ twice. He was a runner-up to Rich Barron and then Craig Delorso. Sean was 35-0. He has a career record of 141 wins, 6 losses, and 4 ties. And he's going against his partner, Tim Krieger from Iowa. And he's a 3-time state champ who has a 21-8 or 28-1 record just as a sophomore, and he hasn't lost since then, which gives him a career record of 103 wins, 7 losses, and 2 ties. John, here's an interesting fact on Krieger. He pinned his way through the states this year, and that is hard to do.
Pinned his way through the states. I'll tell you, that is a fantastic accomplishment.
You know, we have a fella coming up with Rob Cole from State College, Pennsylvania, John, and he did something just as amazing. He went through the states in 4 bouts and didn't have a point scored against him.
41 seconds to go in the first period, and it's 2-1. Sean Finkbeiner from Pennsylvania leading Tim Krieger. And Richard, joining us very shortly, is going to be the coach of the University of Pittsburgh, Mr. Randy Stottlemyre. We're going to try to round up a couple of other people. See if we can't get some more of this talent that's abundant here in the field house. With us is Randy Stottlemyre, head wrestling coach of the University of Pittsburgh. Randy, is this a coach's dream, or is this a coach's dream to see this kind of talent out there?
No, it's just great to be able to watch this kind of wrestling at the Pitt Fieldhouse. You know, this is the premier event in high school wrestling, and it's just great to have it here.
How is the Pittsburgh wrestling program coming along, Randy?
We're making progress. We had our first All-American this year, and Jeff Jellick, who came in 4 years ago, and before he finished his career, he ended up surpassing my career mark of 68 wins. So he's the winningest wrestler in Pitt history, and also was an All-American this year. And I might add, he's been accepted to Pitt's Dental School.
That's super. We were talking earlier, Randy, about the value of the boys having the grades to go along with the wrestling talent out there. As a college coach, tell the boys and the parents just how important it is to keep those books open.
It's very important, not only just to get into school, but when it's all said and done, when your 4 years of wrestling is up, as we tell the kids, you can't eat your wrestling shoes. You know, you got to be able to go out and to market yourself, and you got to be able to go out and get a job. And so, you know, obviously it's very, very important that you do combine both the academics and the athletics. And something that we talk a lot about, too, is just citizenship, you know, which, you know, we really try and recruit good kids who want an education and want to wrestle.
Well, we've got Finkbeiner up to the tricks again of getting that crowd excited. He's now leading 4-2 with 1:30 to go in the second period. Randy, maybe you can grace our audience a little bit and give us a little description as these moves are occurring out there.
You know, Sean's a real physical kid. He's just doing a real nice job on this young man from Iowa. I've heard a lot of good things about him also. He's supposed to be one of the best Iowa has this year. And right now, of course, Sean's ahead 6-2. It'll be hard to catch up, I'm sure.
Randy, while we have the opportunity, we wanted to thank Jim Thomas and all the folks here for the great facilities and cooperation we got from the crew at the field house. This is a fine facility for wrestling, and I'm sure you're very proud of the fact that you fill it up too with some good wrestling fans.
Yes, we are. Jim does a super job, and again, we're very pleased that, you know, to be able to host the Classic and to have this great wrestling at the University of Pittsburgh. And just obviously we'd like to see Pennsylvania do well here. We're kind of partial to the Pennsylvania boys, but it's great for the fans to be able to watch it.
Well, you know, we see so many good Pennsylvania wrestlers get out of state. You know, they slip the border and they go to other schools like Iowa and do extremely well out there. And I think just for a matter of pride, Pennsylvania would like to keep that talent here. But then again, Pennsylvania can bring in some good wrestlers like these boys we're watching and upgrade the caliber of the sport.
Yes, Pennsylvania wrestling is outstanding. There's no two ways about it. When you talk about high school wrestling across the country, Pennsylvania is without a doubt one of the top 2 or 3 states in the country.
It's 6-2. Finkbeiner leading Tim Krieger. And we've got 22 seconds to go in the second period. Our guest right now is Randy Stottlemyre, a legend in his own time and carrying on that tradition here at Pittsburgh as the coach. Randy, your comments about the crowd that's here today. It's a very knowledgeable crowd, and they seem to be getting their money's worth with this caliber of wrestling.
Yes, they definitely are getting their money's worth. Again, this is one of the premier events in high school wrestling, and they're seeing the best that the United States has to offer, as well as the best that Pennsylvania has to offer. And yes, they are very knowledgeable. So if you sit there and watch them, they know, although maybe not a lot of points are scored, they appreciate a good flurry, or somebody does something and somebody else comes back with something, and boy, they just go at each other. No points are scored, but there's a lot of action. I think the fans really appreciate that.
One of the things that's always impressed me about wrestling, you get two boys like Patsy Volcano and David Olmstead, and you'd expect it maybe to be 1-0, but then you see an explosion and the man gets pinned in 50 seconds. That tells you something. Yeah. Anything can happen at any given time under any given circumstances, and that's what's so exciting and electrifying about the sport of wrestling.
Oh, without a doubt. It was great to watch Patsy go out there, and these kids are of such a caliber. If somebody makes a big mistake like that young man against Patsy did, Patsy locked the cradle up, and that was it. You knew that he was no way he was going to let the kid out. And it is really great to watch those kids match up like that. And again, you just don't make a mistake against the top flight competition like this.
Well, that's a good thing to tell the people that have these records. They don't want to get careless out there. They can't wrestle with a 50-0 record. They have to go out there and wrestle just as though this was the only match they've ever wrestled. That record simply tells them that they've had some good opportunities, but it doesn't guarantee them a win, does it?
No, that's for sure. Whenever you look at the scoreboard before that match starts, it's 0-0. It's not I had 50 wins and I get 10 points. It's a 0-0 match. And, we tell our kids that have to wrestle against a really top-flight competition, or if we have a kid that's doing really well during the year, we tell them, hey, the score is still 0-0 when you go out there.
Finkbeiner has worked a very commanding 12-5 lead here. 42 seconds to go in the third period. It's now 12-5. It's like a cat out there, and of course the reactions, I don't think you can say that people are born with those reactions. That's something that you can train and hone and refine, and we talked about that this is the tip of the iceberg, Randy. When they're out there wrestling, that's really the tip of it. That's all you get to see in the sport of wrestling, but it goes so much deeper than that. About 98% of the effort is underwater. You don't get to see it. That happens in the practices when you're knocking heads with the coach and knocking heads with each other. Some of the best wrestling that's probably ever occurred in the sport happened at practice, and we never got to see it.
Without a doubt. Boy, Sean did a nice job on that one. He did look super.
All right, that's the final at 145 pounds. Sean Finkbeiner is going to win it by a score of 14-5, and that'll make our team score a big victory or big lead here. It was 18-9 going into this. Krieger of Iowa is defeated by Sean Finkbeiner.